I am very, very, very worried about what happens. I think the economic situation worsens. I think the cost of living crisis worsens. I think living standards will worsen. I think that will increase the popularity of reform. If I'm being totally honest, I think reform will win the next election. And we have to be realistic about what that means, right? You know, I come from a very poor background, and this means, you know, the amount of real poverty that's happening, real poverty. This is not, you know, relative poverty. This is families that struggle to feed their kids, struggle to put the heating on, struggle to pay the rent, struggle to pay the bills. That is really growing, and that will continue to grow. But the reality is, after the next election, the chances of us having a prime minister that is not a Labour or a Reform prime minister is low. And I don't mean that in any way disrespect. You will probably recognise that as well, right? I think it's important that you're there because, all right, listen, I have to treat it for what it is. It's a game, right? You know, and I see Labour aren't giving us anything. And if you're out there pushing wealth taxes and you're super popular and you're going to win 40 seats, then that gives me power when I go and talk to whoever the new Labour Prime Minister is. And, you know, I don't see that as me using you. I see that as like, surely you also, this is the role of a smaller party.
I'm with you entirely. And then there could be a hung parliament because particularly if Reform have done very well, those seats have come from Labour. Yeah. They've probably gone Green, maybe more to the Lib Dems. And so then I do think there's an interesting conversation about what the negotiations look like with wealth tax, proportional representation, so we're not in this ridiculous situation ever again, and for me, action on the climate as well. And I think that all makes sense, and I think you are operating in the right place there.
For me, this is a game. You know, this is a game, and the stakes are really, 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 really high. And but, you know, look, Nigel Farage, until the last election, I think he'd only ever won one MP, right?
Right.
And yet he's been dominating British politics for 15 years. You can have a phenomenal amount of power as a smaller party and as a leader of a smaller party without needing to win the next election. Because, you know, Brexit happened because of Farage. You had no MPs at the time. You know what I mean?